Hello, students. I am A.Faras from the Department of English, Rajarshi Chhatrapati Shahu College, Kolhapur. Today, let's learn a poem, A Poison Tree, written by William Blake. William Blake was an English poet and painter considered to be a pre romantic figure. He wrote what he called songs of innocence and songs of experience, reminding us of paradisical stage in the life of man. Here, the perspective is that of childlike innocence. On the contrary, the songs of experience deal with the bitter reality that bites and destroys that innocence. The perspective here is more mature, realistic, and sad. His poems make use of powerful symbols to convey meaning. We consider here his famous piece, A Poison Tree. Friends, the title is an allusion to the book of Genesis from the Old Testament, which narrates the story of the fall of Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, as they had committed the original sin. The story shows how Satan, in the guise of the serpent, tempts Eve and makes her taste the forbidden fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil against the command of God. Thus, the apple has come to symbolize an object to be avoided, as it is the cause of human tragedy. Let's have the paraphrase of the poem. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. The speaker was angry with his friend. When he told his friend about it, the anger disappeared. I was angry with my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow. He was once angry with his enemy, but the speaker did not talk about his anger. So his anger got bigger and bigger. The feeling became worse. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears. The speaker treated his anger very much like a plant. A plant needs water and sun in order to grow. He developed his anger more with his fears. The anger got worse when he cried almost night and day. And I sunned it with smiles and with soft deceitful wiles. The speaker topped up his anger with fake smiles, pretending to be happy in front of his enemy. And he added deceit and tricks. Maybe he was planning something mischievous or bad. So the speaker's anger was growing bigger and stronger, just like a growing tree. And I grew both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. Because of the persona's efforts, his tree of anger eventually bore a bright and delicious apple. His enemy saw the shiny apple, the fruit of the speaker's anger. And he knew that it was mine, and my foe beheld it shine. His enemy saw the shiny apple and knew that apple tree belonged to the persona. And into my garden stole, when the night had welled the pole, the enemy secretly sneaked into the persona's garden like a thief. He went out into the garden at night when it was extremely dark to steal the apple. The pole possibly refers to the pole star, also known as the North Star. It is a very bright star and it stays fixed, and it usually is used in navigation. In the morning, glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. In the morning, the speaker sees, maybe with a happy feeling, his enemy is lying under the tree, dead, unconscious, after eating the poison apple. The fruit that was poisoned with persona's anger. The poem is a confession of the speaker. In the poem, who narrates how the hatred and anger suppressed in heart creates poison and kills somebody. When the speaker gets angry with his friend and expresses it, things are clear and atmosphere is not vitiated. But in case of an enemy, the speaker gets angry with him and keeps the anger simmering in his heart. In the second stanza, it gets proper food for growth. The water of the fears in the form of tears quenches it. It gets the sunlight of his smiles and also his good looking but deceptive tricks. In the third stanza, all this nourishing results in the form of a bright apple. His enemy watches the fruit shining on the tree and desires to have it for himself, although it was not his. In the last stanza, at the night time, the enemy manages to enter the speaker's garden, obviously for stealing the fruit. When the morning comes, his corpse is seen beneath the tree. The title, A Poison Tree, as an extended metaphor which indicates how human heart nourishes in trade for an enemy. It is like planting a tree and watering and feeding it with negative impulses. As a result of this, the tree bears a fruit which is bright and attractive to look at, but within it the negative thoughts have created deadly poison. Thus, the apple tree in the speaker's part becomes a poison tree. The enemy gets attracted and after eating it, courts death. This reminds us of the biblical story of the fall of man. The entire story acquires the force of the usual human experience, wherein negative feelings have dangerous effect. The poet wants to convey the message by emphasizing value of communication through which the catharsis of negative feelings produces positive effects. On the contrary, those who harbor anger and hatred in their hearts have to suffer from the effect of emotional poison. This is probably the warning Blake would like to give to such people. Thank you, friends.